When it comes to discussing the top teams in the NBA, one team I don't think gets enough attention is the New York Knicks. No, the Knicks didn't make a splash in free agency, but they kept their core intact while adding a very good role player in Donte Divincenzo. And this is a core of players that took a great Miami Heat team that was in the finals to a tough 6 games.
NBA guys. Vincent got free. Another three. Another hit. Success. Tatum tried to split the defense. We got it.
After decades of constant roster turnover, the Knicks are going into this season with chemistry and continuity. They also have one of the NBA's youngest rosters, which gives them a chance to be much better this season if their young players improve. This video will explain why the Knicks are not only a very good team, but have the potential to make a major leap this upcoming season. First, let's discuss Jalen Brunson. He made a massive leap in the 2022-23 season, raising his scoring from 16 a game in Dallas to 24 a game in New York. Leaving the Mavericks, a team in which he had to play with the ultra ball dominant Luka, and coming to the Knicks allowed Brunson to have more control in running the offense, and he absolutely thrived. Despite standing at just 6'1", he's one of the best scorers in the NBA. He doesn't have top-end speed and athleticism, but he's incredibly skilled and crafty. He's got a really nice handle, which allows him to get in the paint at will, and he's an amazing finisher. He doesn't take many shots close to the rim, but he's got one of the best floater games in the NBA.
Brunson, shake and bake, goes at Bridges, his former teammate. To 35 seconds. There's Brunson, nice move, good.
He's also got terrific footwork in the paint. If he can't get the blow-by, Brunson often turns his drives into post-ups, and he's amazing at hitting fadeaways. Brunson is also terrific in the mid-range, and he's adept at creating space to get his shot off, even against much bigger defenders. He's an amazing shot creator, but he also doesn't get enough credit for being insanely clutch. Last season, Brunson scored the 4th most clutch points in the NBA.
Sure, Jalen Brunson was going to play tonight. Hurt his foot on Sunday, and he comes up with a 30-point game.
Thanks to his incredible offensive arsenal, Brunson can create a good shot against any defender anytime he wants. And the moment is never too big for him, making him one of the best closers in the NBA. It's really funny that last summer when the Knicks signed Brunson, the narrative from fans and the media was that the Knicks overpaid. And I'm going to be honest, I'm petty. I kept all the receipts of the people that said this was a bad contract last year. Turns out, 4 years, $104 million is an absolute bargain, and Brunson was clearly the steal of last year's free agency. And as good as Brunson was last season, I think there's another gear he can hit this upcoming season. If he can get his scoring up, he can enter MVP candidate territory. For that to happen, Brunson would likely have to go from averaging 24 points to at least 28. And Brunson could increase his scoring with more 3-point attempts. Brunson attempts about 5 3-pointers a game and shoots it pretty well at 41%. But most of the top scorers in the NBA shoot the 3 ball at much higher volume. If Brunson can increase his 3-point attempts to 7 or 8 a game, his scoring should go up, even though his 3-point efficiency would likely dip.
From 3-point range, Brunson has been on fire, doesn't it?
If they win of the 4-game season series, Brunson knocks down the Phoenix.
Eluded having with that shaky base.
Step back 3, puts it in.
But with an even higher scoring average, Brunson would be an even better player, and if the Knicks can rise up in the standings, he should put himself in MVP talks. Now let's discuss Julius Randle. I know Knicks fans have a massive hate boner for Randle, but it's important to remember that the Knicks have made the playoffs in 2 of the last 3 years, and that's largely thanks to his all-star caliber play.
Randle goes inside. Oh!
Now Randle into the paint with the emphatic slam.
Randle is coming off a season where he put up a career-high 25 points per game, which not only earns him his 2nd all-star selection of his career, but his 2nd All-NBA team. Julius Randle's play fell off a cliff in the playoffs, going from averaging 25 a game in the regular season to just 16 a game on 37% shooting in the playoffs. That's really bad, but it's important to remember that Randle was practically playing on one leg, after suffering a brutal ankle injury right before the playoffs.
For quickly, corner three. Randall fighting, big rebound, stumbles, and fell.
Randall though holding that left ankle like he might have turned it.
Randall would eventually get surgery on that same ankle shortly after the Knicks were eliminated in the second round. Considering that Randall had to get surgery, it's fair to say that the injury was a major cause of Randall's poor play in the postseason. Going into the playoffs with a healthy Julius Randle will be very important for the Knicks if they want to make a deeper run. But Coach Tibbs has to reduce the minutes of his starters in the home stretch of the season to lower the risk of injury. Another big part of the Knicks' success is Mitchell Robinson. In my opinion, he was the unsung hero from last season. Mitchell Robinson didn't get enough alley-oops and dump-off passes last year, and he let his frustration be known on social media. But to Mitch's credit, he never let his lack of involvement on offense negatively impact his effort on defense and on the boards. And the hard work Mitch put on the glass was a big part of the Knicks' success last season. The Knicks were 4th in offensive rating last year, but their excellence as a team offensively was in spite of inefficient shooting. The Knicks ranked 19th in both field goal percentage and three-point percentage, but they were elite on the boards at 3rd in offensive rebounds per game as a team. And Mitch was a major part of that, ranking 2nd in the entire NBA in offensive rebounds per game. In other words, Mitch rebounded a ton of his teammates' misses, which led to putbacks and extra possessions for the Knicks offense. That dominance on the glass was a big part of the Knicks' success last year, and it was a huge part of the Knicks destroying the Cavaliers in the first round, as Mitchell Robinson totally outmuscled Jared Allen and Evan Mobley on the boards.
Back after one loss, despite how bad it was. Allen missed. Robinson got another
battle. Neither team shooting it well from the perimeter, and that's a nice
point. Brunson backs him up on the baseline. Finally misses one, but
with Mitchell Robinson still on the team and locked up for the next 3 years, this means the Knicks will be able to continue their bruising interior play. And Isaiah Hartenstein, Josh Hart, and Jericho Sims are also returning, who are also excellent offensive rebounders. Having continuity is huge, but the Knicks also improved with the pickup of Donte Divincenzo, who has a rapport with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart from their days at Villanova. It wasn't that long ago where Donte was a starter on a Milwaukee Bucks team that won the championship. He suffered a season-ending injury in the first round, but he was a big part of that team's success in the regular season.
The corner, here's Divincenzo, and he is tripped up.
He comes frustrated now as he might have landed awkwardly on like his left foot right there.
Donte's play declined the next year, recovering from his ankle injury, but he bounced back in Golden State last year, which is why the Knicks gave him a 4-year, $50 million contract. Donte shot a career-best 40% from deep last season for Golden State, and as stated earlier, the Knicks struggled as a three-point shooting team, so Donte's knockdown shooting off the bench will be a huge boost to the Knicks offense.
has that three blocked out to DiVincenzo.
But Donte is so much more than a shooter. He's a versatile player that can rebound, handle the ball, and playmake, which will help the Knicks to once again have one of the better second units in the NBA. And along with being a good offensive player, Donte is also a pest on the defensive end, making him a great addition to a Knicks team looking to make noise in the East. Adding Donte to their core should definitely improve the Knicks, but they'll also be much better if RJ takes a step forward. RJ could definitely score a lot of points. He was a borderline 20 points per game scorer last year.
All right, get a shot up. This is for the win.
Last year. But he's also pretty inefficient. RJ is good at getting by his man, and he's a strong finisher, but he shoots poorly from everywhere on the court besides the paint. In order for RJ to take a major leap, he simply must become a better shooter. RJ needs to shoot at least league average from deep, and he needs to develop a solid mid-range shot. I'm sure some Knicks fans have been encouraged by RJ's play in FIBA exhibition games for Team Canada, but we have to remember that this is a lower level of competition compared to what he'll face in the NBA. If RJ can become a much better shot maker in his 5th year, then New York will be a much better team. Another young player that needs to improve is Quentin Grimes. Grimes became a valuable starter for the Knicks last season due to his excellent defense and knockdown shooting, but his offensive game is very limited. For one thing, Grimes shot 38% from deep in the regular season, but just 24% from deep in the playoffs, which hurt the Knicks' spacing. Grimes also must expand his offensive game. He could put the ball on the deck, but he must become better at finishing in traffic. If Grimes can improve his shooting while expanding his offensive game, he'll become a much better player. Another player the Knicks need more from is Immanuel Quickley. Like Grimes, IQ was a big part of the Knicks' success last year. He averaged a career-high 15 points per game in the regular season while remaining a pest on defense. His incredible production off the bench made him second in Sixth Man of the Year voting, but also like Quentin Grimes, he fell off a cliff in the playoffs, with his scoring dropping to just 9 points per game on piss-poor efficiency.
Topping it quickly. Quickly has it. Takes it back out. Too late, Mike. Quickly launches. And off the... What?
In the regular season, we saw IQ not just hitting open shots, but also getting to the rim at will, finishing, and creating for his teammates. We didn't see much of that in the playoffs. IQ must continue to improve so he can remain a high-level offensive creator for the Knicks come postseason. But overall, the Knicks have a chance to make some serious noise in the East. And what's going to help them is that some of the top teams in the East could decline this season. The Miami Heat lost 2 starters in free agency in Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. Of course, most are expecting them to get Damian Lillard, but a Dame trade doesn't appear to be imminent. The 76ers were last year's 3 seed, but right now they're a hot mess with James Harden telling the world he'll never play for Daryl Morey again.
Let me say that again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of again.
Furthermore, the Milwaukee Bucks, who were last year's 1 seed, have one of the oldest rosters in the NBA, which makes them very susceptible to injury. Chris Middleton showed serious signs of decline last year, and Giannis is coming off knee surgery. The Knicks are in a perfect position to capitalize from the decline of these weakened rosters. If New York can get enough growth from their young players, then this is a Knicks team that can jump from 47 wins last year to over 50 wins this upcoming season and get themselves a top 3 seed in the East. If enough things go right, the New York Knicks can shock the NBA. But what do you think? Will the Knicks be a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference? Let me see your thoughts down below in the comment section. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more high quality content just like it, please drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching and have an amazing rest of your day.